Pipes and drums! Halt!
Is that turned off? I'd like to invite the flag bearers to the steps, please.
Pipes and drums! Stand at 8! Stand easy!
Turn it on.
That was a bit cozy. Yeah, pretty tight in the spot. It was. Your drone was like, it was behind your head.
Okay.
Gotta work on that. Gotta get some stiffers.
Steps, we'll get underway.
Some aphrodisiac for his hat or something. But I just realized just now, coming on from lawn and going, I'm not fearing the flip of my tail.
I thought it was a birthday.
My name's Brian.
Somebody had told
On
me.
behalf of the Victoria Highland Games Association, we'd like to welcome you to Victoria's 18th Annual Tartan Parade. This morning parade kicks off a week of celebrations leading up to the 162nd Victoria Highland Games and Celtic Music Festival next weekend, May 17th and 18th at Topaz Park here in Victoria. The Victoria Festival is the longest continually running Highland Games in North America and celebrates the rich Scottish and Celtic history of Victoria and all of British Columbia. Over the Games weekend, we're holding international heavy events competitions with many of the world's best men and women athletes. Our Games is one of the best in the world for this sport. We are also hosting the Regimental Drum Major Championship over both days with top amateur drum majors in North America, plus performances from the 6-time World Champion drum major, Jason Haggio. And no Games would be complete without piping and drumming. We have 11 competing pipe bands over the Games weekend and 111 individual competitors, which promises to be a fine show of talent, skill, and competitive instinct. Also performing is the Simon Fraser University Pipe Band, the best pipe band in North America and 6-time Grade 1 world champion. We're very proud to host the 2-day Highland Dance competition, and we have a great lineup of Scottish and Celtic music bands running both days. And what would a Scottish and Celtic music festival be without whiskey and beer? We are running the popular whiskey school and wine tasting school again this year, and we will have adult beverage areas throughout the venue. And for families, children under 12 are free, and there is a large children's entertainment area. As you can tell, we're excited to bring you the 162nd Victoria Highland Games and Celtic Festival. I would now like to introduce the Tartan Parade. Highland dancers who will perform the masked Highland fling, which is a dance that originates in the Highlands of Scotland and was traditionally a victory dance after battle. I now call on the pipe makers and the pipe sergeants of the masked bands to accompany the dancers as they perform the Highland fling. heavy events are a huge crowd favorite and one of the fastest growing features of the Victoria Highland Games and Celtic Festival. It is said that when the English prohibited the Scottish Highlanders from bearing weapons in the 18th century, the Scottish men looked for other ways to prove their manhood, satisfy their warrior spirits. They proved their physical prowess by competing against one another using the farming and natural implements that were readily at hand. Today, the tradition continues with competitions such as putting the stone, hammer throwing, weight for height, and distance and caber tossing. This morning, Alex McCrae will demonstrate the caber toss. The caber he'll be using is 19 feet long and 106 pounds. The challenge caber at the Games will be 20 feet long and 140 pounds. Imagine that. In case you don't have all of Alex's info, he's a former Canadian junior champion, is ranked number 2 in Canada, placed 7th last year at the World Championships, and has placed 2nd 3 times at the Canadian Championships. Wonderful, Alex. The object is to get the caber to turn once in the air and land as close to 12 o'clock as possible. At the Games, top athletes will attempt to turn the caber, as I mentioned, that is 120 pounds, 20 feet long, sometimes up to 150 pounds. Let's cheer on Alex as he turns the caber! Getting ready for another. Gonna need lots of spirit from the audience. Need lots of cheers here. Cheers for Alex. Imagine a bigger caper. Incredible. Right. I would now like to call on the front rank. We'll now use the mass band in playing of Amazing Grace. Please join me in recognizing the pipe bands who came to Victoria this morning to play the Tartan Parade. The Canadian Scottish Association Pipe Band, the Greater Victoria Police Pipe Band, Cowichan Pipe and Drums, Castle Carey Pipe Band,
Got it? You guys can
443 Squadron Pipe Band, 78 Fraser Highlands Pipe Band, and the Saanich Peninsula Pipe Band. Let's hear some applause for those folks, please. behalf of the Victoria Highland Games Association, I would also like to thank all of our fantastic volunteers who wouldn't be able to make the games happen without them. All of our dancers, athletes, especially you, the people
We're going
of
to step
Victoria,
off right away. 6-8,
and visitors
step
who
off
come
right
out
away.
and
Counter march,
make
and
the
we'll
game
cut off.
successful.
Hold at the end of the crowd.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you next weekend, May 17th.
Lights and drums, 6-8.
For the
Lights and drums.
Victoria Highland Games
March.
Music Festival. White bands will now-
Lights and drums. Halt. Lights down. Lights and drums. Dismiss.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Give me 5 minutes freaking more. Who knew that they stopped?
Yeah, we got to work on that.
Okay, there we go.
Well, I guess we'll make it.
You're welcome. Say hi for me.
From Wednesday. Okay, true confession, you miserable lot. True confession. Out of all the ones who forgot something, guess who forgot where's head?
He's coming along though. Yeah, you can't learn everything at once.
Work in progress. I mean, that's the way it is with fighting.
Well, you know, it's a lot for
You know, I
me.
left her on the seat and I just, oh shit.
Not as bad as the lady that was beside me. She forgot her shirt.
Oh, I wish I was beside me.
That's why she kept her ring.
Okay,
Bye. See you later.
so what was she wearing then, Sandy? Okay, we won't ask her to
No, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I can't unsee that one. Just let that one go.
I missed something.
Listen, all of you, thank you for coming. For whatever reason, somebody smiled on us like they did last year. Remember last year? I was having kids and I'm going, it's going to rain. Oh, please don't. It was nice.
It's Glenn. Where's Glenn? It's Glenn's responsible because he brought his cape. So
But you know what? Our sound was good. The playing was good. Video will probably show it. There was mistakes. It's on the rink next to us. I don't know what on the other side.
Well, we have some random drum major activity.
We got to work on the drum major. Serious issues.
I can't see this thing happening.
One would have it, the other wouldn't. And then it's going to over here.
Yeah, tomorrow here at 10.
Okay.
Let's do another one.
Oh, we pulled it off. Excellent. Good idea. Oh, I forgot my more for the photo. Oh, man. Look at this group here. You're as bad as him. We'll connect. We got to put a string on his mittens next. You know?
I have actually never forgotten my hat, actually. And what I usually do is, while I'm messing around tuning and stuff, I just stick it on the back of my pouch right on your strap. And then I go, okay, it's always there if I need it. And today, I didn't do it. Stupid.
You'll be written up by Sue.
I'll be written
what
up.
happens when you get older.
I'll never live that one down. That's what happens.
Cool. It's cool. That's what happens when you have a birthday, Doug. You get older.
Everything goes right. Or that's the beautiful part about it is you get to meet it.
Unless you want to make them play some more. It's up to you.